Opinionated and now caffeinated. Wake Up Warchant is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed, Courtney, and their son, Brett, DeLuna Coffee is Florida State through and through. The pursuit of the perfect blend of coffee beans is a 365-day effort for the family, but they'll always find time to tailgate for their Noles in the autumn. Stand at attention for their red, white, and brew. In honor of armed forces, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, DeLuna has created this fair trade organic blend. Enjoy this premium French roast coffee and salute to the good old USA. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hujavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. It is the holiday season, so why don't you explore their flavor options, Corey? Check it out, man. Vanilla fudge, coconut rum, perhaps, hazelnut, pumpkin pie, if you like to bring Thanksgiving into your Christmas rotation, butter toffee rum, peppermint mocha, ooh, checking the boxes. Caramel, chocolate macadamia nut, vanilla macadamia nut. All these options. These are 100% Columbia Supremo and Excelso beans. All available at DeLunaCoffee.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT15. Get yourself a 15% discount on those delicious beans, the options I just laid out there for you. You can get them a whole bean. You can get them ground for a drip coffee maker. You can get them ground coarsely if you got a French press like I do. Or you can get them ground finely for an espresso machine like Corey's got. Corey's got heart. Corey's got knowledge and wisdom. Corey's got opinions that we all like. Corey Clark's here, everybody. Hi, Corey.
Hey, buddy. Did you know a hazelnut's not really a nut?
What?
I think it's a seed. I think it's been masquerading as a nut all these years, but it's actually a seed. What do you think about that?
No. My life's a lie. I've been living a lie. Every time I go on a date, girls like, what's your favorite nut? I'm like, hazelnut, duh. It's not even a nut, huh? Maybe that's why I'm single.
Well, according to Friends, there was a Friends episode where the guy said that a hazelnut has been masquerading as a nut this whole time, and it's actually a seed. And there's actually another nut that's been masquerading as a nut, which is actually a seed, but I can't remember that one. And that could have been wrong. Friends, I don't know that Friends is the best place for history and to learn things and education, but I remember that scene specifically.
Okay. Very good. Very good. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Use the promo code WarChant30 on our website. WarChant30, WarChant15 over at DeLuna. Wednesday, National Signing Day, live coverage on WarChant TV with Michael Langston, myself, Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. live, brought to you by ABC Liquors. Giddy up, everybody. Get a little
5
nip
days.
in here. Yeah.
5 days.
It's going to be fun. Lots of twists and turns, I'm sure, to await us here as we come down this home stretch. We'll have another live recruiting chat on Monday. Corey and I still deliberating over doing a Tuesday or a Thursday live show, but we'll do one or the other. I kind of think we should do Tuesday. I know there's concern that we might get a lot of recruiting questions, but I think people know the deal with us. And I just think we'll build more momentum. We'll just build momentum. Monday night, Michael Langston. Tuesday night, Wake Up Warchant. Wednesday, all day, everybody. But we'll keep you posted.
We'll see.
I
think I kind of tend to disagree there and think Thursday would be the day because people can celebrate, hopefully, a really good signing class. And that, people be more festive, maybe, than the anticipation of the Tuesday. Because they're going to want to know a bunch of answers, and we're not going to have all the answers. But Thursday, we'll have all the answers.
No, I don't think people are going to come to us with recruiting questions.
You're crazy.
I'm
You're
wrong.
crazy.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Not recruiting questions, but we get to comment on the class itself. What they how many 5 stars they actually end up signing. That's what
we're going to have a wrap up with Langston. We're going to have, whatever. We're having a live production meeting. Not good. Sorry, everybody. Apologize. But you see where I lose my battles here, obviously. Shout out Jermaine Johnson declared for the NFL draft. You had another year of eligibility. You didn't want to use it. It's okay. You're not selfish. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, what's his deal?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Ooh, I got 12 sacks. Ooh, I'm the defensive player of the year. I guess I don't have anything left to prove. Oh, I've been out of high school for 5 years or 4 years. Still, you could have come back for one more year. You on one side, get another Georgia backup to come in and be on the other side this year. Come on, man. What a selfish kid. This whole time we thought he was like going to be a leader.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like lead Florida State into the next millennia of great college football. And then he just bounces after one season? Come on, Jermaine. Actually, I didn't even know he had a year of eligibility left. Yeah. I guess I should have known that. But nobody was surprised at more when Jermaine John. In fact, when he did it, I laughed. I wanted to be like, no, duh, man. Right, That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, great season for him. An all-time great season. His legacy, I think, is secure. And he should. There's a chance he's going to be a consensus All-American, which would be really cool. It's been a minute since they had one of those.
Yeah, the ESPN Home Depot awards. I don't know even if they are the Home Depot awards anymore. But they're on the background at the Midtown offices, and I saw that some kick returner from South Florida was like the specialist of the year for kick returns.
Okay,
2-star kid, class of 2020. Let's maybe go down to Tampa, guys.
What's he doing?
I don't know. Losing,
Yeah.
Although I don't know, they might have won. They probably won less than 5 games. So grass is greener over here, Brian Batty. Come get you some. We'll have reaction from Ira, Schofel, and Gene Williams to the news of Michael Alford being promoted, being hired as the new athletics director at Florida State University after Vince Tyre apparently at the 11th
hour.
Tyra.
You know what? Tyra.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn your name. We're not going to pronounce it the right way. It's Tyra.
Thank goodness. I couldn't have done it. Imagine like my name was like Aislan. Like if everybody pronounced me Aislan. No, it's Aslan. Tyra. Come on, man. Figure it out, Vince. So he apparently 11th hour ends up deciding to stay at Louisville because apparently Louisville's president on Monday announced she was going to leave in a tearful goodbye in a meeting. So the big blockade for him apparently is gone, so he decided to maybe stick around in Louisville. No idea if he's going to re-up.
No, I don't think that's it at all. I think he's resigning from Louisville.
Really? Just done, huh?
He's told Florida State no, and then the main reason I guess he was leaving Louisville in the first place or looking to leave was that president. She's going to Penn State to replace Eric Barron. It's all time is a flat circle, folks. So even still, so he says no to Florida State. And then apparently isn't going to be the Louisville guy either. He turned in his resignation.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was dated December 8th. He turned in his letter of resignation. So unless something changes, which, I mean, it's Louisville, so of course it will. That place up there, man. What a weird, bizarre 18 to 24 hours. Like, he was going to be the Florida State AD, and now he just doesn't want to be an AD at all. That's an odd turn of events. Like, what was going on? There needs to be an oral history of this last 24 hours or a 30 for 30 on it because it's bizarre. Yeah. It's bizarre that the whole thing, like Florida State, Alford, I'm sure, had this in mind when he took the job. He was the Central Michigan AD, comes to Florida State for a different role, knowing that the AD job is going to be available sometime soon. It becomes available. You would think he's a front runner. He's been at the school for over a year as the president of the Booster Club, but in a capacity working with the athletic department. Doesn't get the job. The new president has a national search, even though he's got a guy right there, 7 feet away. He has a national search, decides on someone else. That was met with mixed results. The guy says yes, then says no, and then says no to the place he was at. And now you go back to Alford, who I'm sure wasn't exactly fired up that they went over his head to go to Louisville to Tyra anyway. And now he accepts the job 12 hours later. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Now all of 3 sentences in the resignation letter. It's cut to the chase, right? I'm gone. Thank you. Goodbye. So,
yeah.
We do have an athletic director, everybody. That's cool. We got a head football coach still.
And one that, cool. And I think what's more cool is it's an athletic director that wants to be an athletic director.
There you go.
Imagine if you had hired the Tyra guy, and he said yes, and he came, and then this happened 2 months from now. He clearly his heart wasn't in it, unless there's pictures or something. And again, it's Louisville. Who knows, man? Who knows? You got Papa John's, you got Patino. Who knows what skeletons are in bags up there? But at least they found out before they officially hired him that he did not want to be an athletic director at this level, because I think he's going back into the private sector. So you dodged a bullet. It was a weird, embarrassing 12 to 18 hours. Although not really. It's an AD. Big deal. Yeah. But it might have been a short-term embarrassment, but you certainly are better off finding out when you did on December 8th than you would have been December 8th of 2022.
Yeah. Miami went and hired Dan Radakovich from Clemson. Again, Michael Alford elevated to athletic director for Florida State, most recently at Central Michigan University, where he was director of athletics from 2017 to 2020. In 2012 to 2017, he was senior associate athletic director, which I think is kind of what Jeff Purinton's doing these days in Tuscaloosa, but over in Norman, Oklahoma. Did lots of stuff. $160 million capital campaign for the renovation of the Memorial Stadium in Norman. Played an integral role in that. Before that is with the Cowboys from 2008 to 2012. And he was general manager of Crimson Tide Sports Marketing from 2004 and 2008.
Okay.
A little time in Cincinnati with the Bearcats and the Bengals. Played baseball at Mississippi State. Didn't know that. We got something in common.
I bet Ron Polk. I guess Ron Polk was probably his coach.
Look at you. Very well. Probably.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Probably. So shout out to him. Beautiful family. Lovely family. Good dude. Been able to speak to him on several occasions. Very energetic, very enthusiastic. So Florida State's got their man. And according to our own Gene Williams, maybe has their own man already at the linebacker coaching vacancy. Randy Shannon, who's Gene's heard, is got the lead seat in that. Nothing official on that one. But, again, Florida State trying to get that spot filled. Again, Chris Marv leaving to become the defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech. Apparently Virginia Tech's also hired the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, and he's going to finish out the season before he goes to Blacksburg. I just saw Jaguars on the bottom line. I assume it's not the University of South Alabama Jaguars. I assume it's the NFL Jaguars. That's kind of weird, right? They're like, what, week 15, week 14?
What if they make the playoffs? So he's the defensive coordinator for the Jags?
No, Marv is going to be the DC. They're taking the OC. He's not the OC of the Jags, but he works for the Jaguars. They're taking that guy to be their OC.
Okay.
Tech.
All right.
And then I don't know. Langston was saying something on the live show. I couldn't fact check it at the time. But is Tony Elliott not going to Virginia now?
It's still up in the air.
Okay.
It's they haven't come to an agreement. He's been offered the job, it sounds like, and he went back to Clemson without an agreement. But as of us recording this show, he had not said yes or no. So we don't know. A lot of up in the air here in college football these days. College athletics.
I wonder what Broncos trying to do. What's Broncos' angle?
Just tired of the rat race, man. Wants to go play with his kids, like Urban.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get to the rest of these questions, and we can maybe also roam around. But we'll get Ira and Gene's thoughts at the end of this podcast. If you're a YouTube person, it's the YouTube video. I'm just taking the audio and putting it on the podcast for the podcast people. Ohio Noles 6. Morning, fellas, from Columbus, Ohio. I bet you it's gray and cold right now in Columbus, Ohio, Corey.
That's a good bet. Definitely cold.
I know the conversation this past week has been about transfer quarterbacks and their impact on recruiting. So a blast from the past with one of Corey's old ideas. What about Travis Jay to play emergency quarterback, or at least start repping with the quarterback room, since he seems to be unable to stick anywhere else on the roster? He would be the closest thing Florida State has to Mr. Houdini himself, should he meet an untimely demise in one of his disappearing acts from the pocket. It's just an idea. He did play high school quarterback. Also, it wouldn't look like FSU's going out of its way to replace Jordan Travis. Instead, it would be finding depth in their own roster. That being said, I am intrigued by the Max Johnson, Jake Johnson combo. Thanks for your time. Go Noles. Caleb. By the way, Corey, you are right. There is somebody corrected me on the live show, but there is a Mark Richt, Brad Johnson. I think Brad Johnson's married to Mark Richt's sister. Is that what you said?
I think so. Yeah. I thought he was married to one of Rick's family members.
Go look him up after you talk about this. Go look up Jake Johnson. Look at his rival's profile. He looks more like Mark Richt than Brad Johnson. It's kind of crazy, but it makes sense.
Man.
He's got.
Man.
He's got the genes, and that's all I'm saying. Max is all
good-looking families and big, tall guys too.
Yeah, strong.
Well, I don't know how tall Rick is. He's a good-looking dude though.
Yeah.
He was a swimmer. He was like a diver in high school.
Really?
And then Brad Johnson's 6'6". So yeah, they came from good genes.
Yeah, good stock. All right, yeah. What about that? Travis J, quarterback.
No, you wouldn't move him to offense to play quarterback, but you certainly could move him to offense. It's not taking in the secondary. Again, they weren't loaded. I thought they have some nice players in the secondary, but they're not loaded with Thorpe winners, and he couldn't crack the field the last month of the season. Couldn't get on it at all, except for Hail Marys. So why would that be different next year? I mean, we're in year 3 now. That was year 3. I know he didn't get to play his first year, but that's year 3 as a college football player, and by the end of the year, he's not playing at all on that side of the ball. So I feel like we've seen enough to know, okay, it's not going to happen there. He tried safety. He's tried corner. Nothing happened, but he is obviously a good athlete. They have him to return kicks. He's a big kid. He's fast. So it seems like offense is where if he's not going to portal it, I would think that offense would be the way to go with him. I would just think it'd be receiver, slot, maybe some running back. I don't know. I don't know that you put him at quarterback, and you don't want to scare off anyone. Not that would. Not that, Travis Jay's moving to quarterback. Well, sorry, I'm not coming to Florida State now. But I don't think that you should have enough bodies in the quarterback room that Travis Jay could be an emergency, like he said. And you could put him in there on third and, I guess, short yardage situations. Yeah.
I like packages for him in that regard that don't take nothing forced. Like, all right, second series of the game we're going to, but hey, it's third and 3. We're on their 21-yard line. Yeah, let's see if we can get it twice with maybe Travis Jay. And he can throw the ball too, so it wouldn't be one of these gimmicks, or they'd have to respect it eventually.
Well, and I would if he's going to practice it, it's not like he's going to be a real quarterback, like he's going to be in the room, watching film, breaking down film for 3 hours a night. He's going to be a zone read guy. He's just going to be a read guy. He's going to read the defensive end, read what's happening on the edge, and either keep it or not. And so if you are going to put him at quarterback, and I'm not saying they will, we're probably already talked too much about this, but that's all I would have him practice for the 15 or 20 minutes, or when he's not a receiver and he's going to take reps at quarterback, it should only be working on the read. Only working on the read, the RPO, not even just the RO stuff. Not much passing. You could sprinkle one in here or there. But imagine, that's a weapon now. Like, that's a real weapon to have because as much as I like Jordan Travis and as good as he is at that and as athletic and dynamic as he is, he's not the athlete that Travis Jay is. So again, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, maybe that's a remedy for what ailed them this year on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. And plus, Jordan Travis isn't taking. That's like maybe 3 or 4 less hits a game he takes. Just throwing that out there, guys. Just throwing it out there.
Captain D_63, otherwise known as Daryl in Thomasville, North Carolina. What's up, Aslan and Corey? Hope both of you are doing well. Thank you, Daryl. Likewise.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl.
First of all, congratulations to the Lady Noles for winning the national championship in soccer. That's number 3, Corey. Whoop. Okay, now on to my question. Corey, Aslan, we are seeing these universities paying these coaches outstanding sums of money to coach football. I was reading where Southern Cal paid Lincoln Riley $110 million, bought his house in Norman for $500,000 with $1 million bonus, and then bought him a $6 million house and gave him and his family 24-hour access 7 days a week to a private jet, all to come coach football. I know we're not, but what if FSU wasn't having to pay off Taggart? If FSU was looking for a coach, would FSU have the money to compete with what is being thrown out there for coaches the last couple of weeks? Sign up for warchant.com, drink your DeLuna coffee, hit the like button, go Noles. Man,
well, first off, I don't think that stuff with the houses is true. I think that was not fact verified. I think even USC maybe came out and said, no, that's not happening. We're not doing that. But no, they wouldn't have. I don't think they have the money to pay, devote $120 million or whatever, $110 million. But, they could be the next tier down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that they're going to go. They're not the school to go get a Lincoln Riley or a Brian Kelly, but they're the school that can have somebody develop into a Lincoln Riley or a Brian Kelly and then keep them. That's what I think they could do. That's what I think the ceiling is that Norvell becomes a hot commodity, one of the best coaches in the country. People love him, and then you keep him here. That's what I do think they have the money to compete that way. But to go out and replace Norvell and be like, okay, what do y'all want? Y'all want to give $12 million to so-and-so? I don't see that being Florida State's future.
Yeah, they went after Bob Stoops. They didn't try to entice Bob Stoops out of retirement with $5 million a year.
Yeah, but it wasn't 12. They weren't buying up real estate for him. So it is. I just think that they have enough money to compete in quotes. They can't get. They are not ever and they never have been.
Florida didn't. Everybody, listen, man. Florida didn't. Florida just pulled the guy out of Lafayette. So
now they can get. I think they can get up to like in fact, like we've talked about, they're spending Cristobal money and Napier money on their current head coaching position. It's just some of that is going to the other guys. So the money is there, and hopefully more money's coming.
But see, you say that, Alford, though, Corey, but they're also doing the same thing. I mean, they got to pay Dan Mullen money. They're paying Manny money, so they're still outspending Florida State.
But I'm saying if you use if this guy's the right guy, and you're like, man, this guy's got it turned around, 10 wins, we're going places. Yeah, they can get up to $8 million from Mike Norvell if it's proven worth it. I think they can do that. I just don't. They're not there yet. Obviously, he hasn't done enough to get that kind of raise. And I don't think when they fire Norvell, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will be different if they fire Norvell in 2 or 3 or 5 years, that they have enough money to go make a real stake with a real proven commodity. I just don't think that that's Florida State's lot in life. Never has been.
Yeah. And it would be hard, especially coming off Jimbo's last year, coming off Taggart, and then if this doesn't work out in the next 2 or 3 years, I don't know how much you can pass that plate around. I don't know how many people are going to be excited. But then again, who knows?
That's why,
It's Michael Alford. It will probably be the AD at that point still, and he's a new guy. Hey, it wasn't my hire. I've got contacts. I've got networking. We have to get this right. Listen, Miami hit that point. Now Miami's got a $400 million slush fund from their health department, their hospital, that's allowed them to get back in this game. But you do hit that point where you look over the edge and you're like, we either jump off this into who knows what happens, or we fight like hell to get back up top, and that's going to require us to do something really bold, and that's. Yes, sorry. I know we just haven't been to a bowl game again, but, we need everybody to give us $500. Everybody, even Aslan's friends.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, really. Come on, guys. Spend up. Do your friends listen to this show?
Not anymore. They're like, it's just all Corey all the time. We miss you, but, like, I'll just text you guys more, send you voice memos.
Well,
no, they don't. Listen, it's weird. Again, you people listening to this are just cut from a different cloth. It's great. It's amazing. Like my friends, listen, you all love Florida State. But my friends love Florida State too. It's just different, People love their kids. Corey loves Brady, but he's not going to proclaim that Brady's the best kid alive.
But he is.
Sort of.
He is. I figured that actually that was illuminated for
Finally?
Me on Thursday night. Yeah, he is the best kid alive. But what I was going to say is. What they're doing now, though, when it comes to the booster money, is they really are, who knows who the new head of the boosters is. Maybe they'll have a completely different vision. But Alford really was kind of going at lower, he was paying more attention to lower level. It wasn't all just big fish. Like $200 is a big deal. They were trying to solicit even from people that don't make that kind of money. They're not big money boosters, but it all matters. Yeah. So, I do think there's plenty of people out there that haven't been boosters that will start being boosters, and even for a lower amount than you don't have to give $10,000 a year. You can give $300 a year or $400. I think those are there's levels starting at that amount, and then maybe
$75. I think you can be like a iron spear or something for like $75.
Yeah, so tell your buddies to be iron spears. That's all we're asking. But back to the Miami slush fund. So people that don't know that story, this was I think it was reported by The Athletic maybe. That the reason Miami had so much money is there was this huge revenue surge over the last year, and they had $400 million extra dollars from the University of Miami hospital healthcare system than they had in previous years. Which, number one, that can't be true, can it? One hospital's making a profit of $400 million?
Man, one? Let's
like
not go
one,
too far down.
like
Let's careful.
well, I don't even know how. I mean, my dad kind of worked in that field. He represented hospitals against insurance companies, actually. So insurance companies are the real devils.
Yeah, you guys.
But that's crazy. When I saw that number, I'm like, wait, the University of Miami, just one single health system, made $400 million extra dollars. And also, if we're to believe that, well, what was the difference in the last year? COVID.
Right.
So go ahead and spend your dirty COVID money. Good grief. I hope you're happy. Good night. Well, how gross is that? That's grosser than Shapiro money.
Oh, it's China. China's bankrolling Miami. I'm kidding. I am
The
kidding.
Wu-Tang. What was it? Not the Wu-Tang. The Wuhan Canes.
They're going to play their first game in Wuhan. That'd be amazing. As we record this, email just came down. Jermaine Johnson named first-team All-American by Walter Camp Football Foundation. He was also first-team All-American by CBS Sports and ESPN. Does that get your locker encased in glass?
Yeah, if you're a consensus, it does. Or maybe consensus, maybe it's unanimous. I mean, they have had a lot of them. But I don't know if it's like 5 that they choose from. It's like Walter Camp, ESPN, AP, not UPI anymore.
FW, like the Football Writers Association.
Sporting News, I think that's still a thing maybe. I don't know. So I don't know if like the CBS one is one that they take into account. But you have to get on – there's 5 that they use, I think, for consensus All-American purposes. And you have to be on 3 of 5 of them to be a consensus All-American. And obviously if you're on all 5 of them, you're unanimous All-American. But, yeah, man, good for him. He might actually get there. That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool, man. Coming 1 year – leaving the program he left, and then you get your locker enshrined? That would be neat.
Yeah, last thing on Daryl's question, we'll pivot to the couple left that we have here in the bag. I mean, my fear is, and it's not fair, I guess, but it's still my fear, though, is that, if Norvell wins, say, like 9 games this season, and I'm not saying they're going to win 9. I don't see there's a reason why you can't, though. I mean, Mel Tucker did it. Dave Aranda did it. Year 2, they got 10 wins. They won their conference, New Year's 6 bowls in better conferences. There's no reason Florida State can't win 10 games next year. Do some things right. You can coach well in games too. You can do some cool stuff in game and make it happen. But if he were to win 7 games, and then he's 3 years, he's halfway through his contract, it's not out the realm of possibility to ask for an extension. And then what do you give him at that point? If he wins 7-8 games and he wants an extension, you can't say no. You probably feel good about it. Everybody feels good about 5 and 7. How good are they going to feel about 7 and 5, 8 and 4?
Well, here's the thing.
And
you
then what? Are you
actually,
going to give him 8? I mean,
no. You can say no. The thought that a recruit, a 16-year-old kid, is going to be like, Coach, I really want to go to Florida State, but gosh darn, you only have 3 years left on your contract. I can't trust that you're going to be there. That's never been said in the history of college football recruiting. 1 year? Yeah, absolutely. But anything more than 1 year left on your contract, kids don't care, and it can't be used against you.
But Hafley at Boston College got a contract extension, and he signed in 2020 as well. I mean, he was only...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it if you believe in the guy, but you're bidding against... If he wins 7 games, you're bidding against yourself. So why do it? Give yourself, make him give you a reason to extend for that kind of extra money, because you don't want to be if for whatever reason it doesn't work out and you just extended them like LSU did Orgeron, you can't afford to do. I mean, you can't afford to do what they do. You can't afford to extend a guy and then cut and then fire him and then pay all. You can't do that again. So why get yourself in that position to extend them again? It's just, who are you bidding against? If you want to give him a raise because he had a nice year and gets to 9 or 10 wins, absolutely, I'm all for it. Extend him. You believe in him. He's going to be your guy. Show some loyalty. So he'll show some loyalty to you when other schools or maybe the NFL comes calling. If that was if that were to happen. But man, if he goes if he wins 7 games next year, you're just gonna say, oh well. It's just in people will say you have to do it. Who's saying you have to do it? The agents and the coaches. You think Norvell's out on the recruiting trail being like, hey, Coach so-and-so's only got 3 years left. They must not believe in him. The kid's going to be like, well, look, man, I only want to be at college for 3 years. That doesn't, and if we're good the next 2 years, he'll get re-upped. They all do it. It's preposterous. These presidents all bid against themselves and end up owing these huge amounts of money. And if you give him an extension, which is fine, give him an extension for 7 wins, the buyout is equal on both sides. That's the one thing that's never made sense. Jimbo had a $0 buyout. He just left Florida State in the lurch and had a $0 buyout.
And did you see Florida? Florida is not paying Dan Mullen all that's left on his contract. They had like a specific termination sum of money, like whatever, it's $18 million or something, because he signed an extension, I think, after last season. So if he were to get the full amount left on his contract, which is like standard for most programs, that's what Willie got. Willie signed whatever it was, 6 years, $30 million, and he got fired after a year and a half. So you still had like $23 million or so, I think, when you prorated it down. Like Florida had something with him where I'm cool with that. I just don't know how many coaches go along with that. Sadly, just there's no leverage. If there's some way, if that's all Michael Alford could do is somehow reassert, maybe change the landscape of contracts, that would be a huge win in of itself.
Yeah, it's just Florida. I think Florida State has to think a little differently. Like Florida, what'd they give Napier, 7 a year?
I think 7.5 maybe.
Who are they bidding against? But I get it. You're Florida. You can afford it a little more than Florida State. Florida State just has to be smarter with the way they spend that kind of money, and don't just hand out an extension because a guy says he needs it. You can roll it over a year, I guess, or whatever you need to do. But just, I don't know, man. That's always been so much made out of that, and it's always the coaches that say it. Well, you got to have 4 years on your. No, you don't, man. Kids don't think like that anyway. Half of them are going to transfer before they're juniors. And if they're juniors and they're good enough, they're not going to be there for a 4th year anyway. It's just, I would like presidents, because the salaries are so outrageous, it would be cool if the presidents kind of tried to right the ship and figured this thing out instead of just being, just giving away money like they've done for the last 15 years.
Yeah, he signed an extension. My goodness. He signed an extension after the 2020 season for $7.6 million a year through 2027. He was going to get $7.6 every year until 2027, but his buyout was $12 million. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
So they don't owe him $49 million?
Nope, just 12.
Oh, well, hey, do that then.
Yeah, less than Willie Taggart.
Okay.
He got him to a New Year's Six Bowl too. So
right. He probably thought too, like, man, that's 40. I just made $50 million. There's no way they're going to fire me.
Yeah.
All I do is get to New Year's 6 games. Yeah. I got this thing rolling, and then 2021 happened.
Hey, folks, you want to understand where the market is moving when it comes to sports betting and see what the smart bets are out there for every single weekend of action? And have some fun while you're getting this information, the wagertainment, if you will, served up by Joe Ostrowski, Joe Giglio, and Aaron Hawksworth. Well, those people are awesome, so check them out on BetQL Daily, which is sponsored by FanDuel. It is the must-listen show for sports bettors and sports fans alike. You'll find out where the market is moving across all of the week's biggest sporting events and find out the smart bets for Saturday, Sunday. We still got games going on, even though it's past championship week on the college side of things. So if you're not sure where to start with sports betting, go ahead and start with BetQL Daily. It's presented by FanDuel. Check out the Lightning picks. Those drop on Friday. I'm a fan of those. You can listen weekdays, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern on Odyssey. Just search on your search engine, BetQL Daily. You'll find the Odyssey page, 9 a.m. to noon. Or you can check out your favorite podcast apps and Spotify to have it on demand. A bit of a bummer here coming out of the break, Corey. Richie Lewis, All-American pitcher for Florida State back in the 80s, passed away on Thursday evening at the age of 55, man. So that's terribly too soon. A Hall of Famer for FSU, was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1995. Small in stature but big in heart, man. He was listed at 5'9", 165 when he got to Florida State. We bumped him up to 5'10", 176 on his way out. Absolutely. I mean, when people say bulldog of a pitcher, he's like in that realm, right? I mean, he rubber arm, and he threw 150 innings in 1987, man. Won 15 games, struck out 196 and 100. I mean, in 86 he struck out 202 batters in 127 innings, man. Good goodness.
Yeah, I don't think now they have college pitchers throw a combined 270 innings over the course of 2 years. That's kind of frowned upon. It was different in the 80s, guys. But yeah, Richie Lewis is like the first Florida State baseball player that I really remember from my childhood. He was Him and Luis Alicea, they were on that 86 team that came so close to winning the championship. They made the final game against Arizona, maybe.
Arizona State?
I thought it was Arizona.
Yeah, you're right.
But Richie Lewis was one of the huge reasons. Him and Mike Lloyd, like that. Richie Lewis was the guy. He would start games. He would come in and relieve. He'd pitch every game, and he would talk to the other dugout. If they were talking to him, he'd bark right back at them. Yeah, man. One of the all-time greats in Florida State baseball history for sure. And 55 is way too young. And it's weird when you get older. You don't. When I was 19, I'd be like, that's a good life. But because I was dumb, you don't have any perspective when you're young. But 55 is really young, so that's a real bummer. So thoughts to his family. But yes, he was one of the all-time greats in Florida State history.
I apologize. He passed away on Wednesday. Two-time All-American, still has a school record, 520 strikeouts.
Yeah, that will never be broken.
Yeah, that's third all-time in the NCAA too. So it's not
especially because Cabell went pro. Hey-o. Come on, guys. We're allowed to have a little fun here.
Different kind of strikeouts. Esquin67, wake up! Looking forward to an interesting offseason. We sure are starting off strong, aren't we? I love it. I want to thank you guys for all the entertainment you brought us this football season. Listening to the Warchant crew is one of the best parts of my day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's nice.
Appreciate that. I may have misread this as I was reading the article while I was working, but did Jermaine Johnson make the ESPN All-American team? Let me go back and look at the email. I think he did make it. Yes. First team. First team, CBS Sports. First team, ESPN. First team, Walter Camp. Second team, Athletic. So if you needed a reason to cancel your Athletic membership.
You got it now. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So he's also a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award and it was a semifinalist for Lombardi and the Bednarik. Don't know if he won the Hendricks Award.
I think the Michigan guy will probably win all of that stuff. But Jermaine should be the other defensive end on all those teams.
Yeah. We need the Coracle to speak something into existence, much like Brett Venables to Oklahoma. Just say, I heard Marvin Jones Jr. has already selected his freshman roommate at FSU. Rise the spear, donate to Seminole Boosters, go Noles, class of 93, hashtag Tyler Grubbs at Tallahassee.
There we go. We're getting Tyler Groves, getting Marvin Jones's kid. All the good stuff is happening. By the way, I'm going to have a story up, Aslan.
Say it, Corey. You didn't say it. I heard Marvin Jones has already selected his freshman roommate at FSU.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't. No, that's not how it works.
Okay,
that's just me reading off a script.
Okay.
I think I would jinx it at this point if I did something like that. It has to come from the heart, and it has to be spontaneous. So we'll see. We'll see. But he already has picked out number 55. I do know that. They're going to bring it out of retirement just so he can wear it. But what I was going to say, what was I saying? I was just saying something.
People excited about, I don't know. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. You weren't listening. You got me.
I'm stopping and I'm rewinding it. We're going to pick it right back up.
We did it. Aslan went back and figured out what I was trying to say. I'm going to have a story up, hopefully while you're listening to this on Friday, about that new endeavor that Florida State has with. I talked to Bob Davis, one of the founders of
Rising Spear.
Rising Spear. Yeah, about what they're doing, how their message is getting to the players getting in contact with them. It's all pretty interesting, man. It's he said that one of the more interesting parts, and I'll leave most of it for the story, was that when all those recruits were there for the Miami game, they had Derek Brooks and Peter Boulware talk to them. All the recruits that were there for the Miami game talk to them about Rising Spear and what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, and what it can do for those recruits. So, yeah, there's something there.
Fantastic.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. It's crazy that I even told him when we were talking, I'm like, this is crazy we're having these conversations. Like, it's just nuts that you're just talking about, like, getting money to players. But it's the reality. It's what we do. So yeah, I thought all that was it's pretty interesting, and it's all in the infancy stages. So it'll all get worked out here in the next few years. But he did say that one of the interesting things is that Florida has actually more. Even though Florida was the first one to develop an NIL deal for kids or a law, that it's actually more restrictive than most states. So like they're not allowed to communicate with Norvell or anybody in the anybody in the athletic department. It has to be third-party stuff. So I thought, like, I think other schools can just go ask, like, hey, Nick, what do you want us to do here? Who do you want us to talk to? They can't do that with Florida State. It's against the I guess the Florida laws. Because he had said he had tried to set up a coffee meeting with Norvell and had done it, and then was texted early that morning and said, nope, that can't happen.
Hopefully it's DeLuna coffee they were going to be drinking.
Of course, man. Come on. What else? Is there another kind?
You right. Yeah. Delicious_crab. Georgia's good, but how much do you think being the best program in the SEC East hypes them up? I have a good buddy who's a Georgia fan. I wish them the best, but who have they actually beaten? Arkansas was ranked, right? Arkansas was ranked. Arkansas, I think, is still ranked. Kentucky was top 15-ish, top 20 when they beat them.
Listen to those names you're rattling off.
Hey,
Clemson,
man.
The best team they beat was Clemson.
And they beat them on a pick six, right?
Yeah, beat them 7-3 or 10-3. But yes, they beat them on a pick six. That was the only touchdown scored in the whole game. So yes, and that was kind of my point once I started watching that Alabama game. Is like, yeah, Georgia does have a very good defense, but it had faced nobody. And this sounds like a joke, but if they had played the schedule that any ACC team had played, they would have given up more points than they gave up in the SEC. Like the Arkansas.
What? Really?
I mean, look, man, because they're quarterbacks. Who was the best quarterback they faced? The kid at Arkansas? Like, they didn't face a good quarterback the whole season. It's almost impossible to think about that,
Jeff
but it's
Sims?
true.
They faced an ACC team. Jeff Sims, right?
Yeah, that's right. I know he actually didn't play in that game. I don't think they used the other kid. That did not work out.
Yeah, no
that's
kidding.
what I'm saying. Like
I got you.
That was the first quarterback. Now, it happened to be the best quarterback in the country. That's a big leap to go from nobody, to go from Georgia Tech to the best quarterback in the country. But, man, they did not face any good offense. I don't think they faced the top 50 quarterback all season.
What about the Tennessee kid?
I mean, he's all right? Yeah. He's a young guy, right? It's not who is it? Who's their Tennessee guy?
Joe something?
Yeah, so Tennessee, honestly, to answer the question, before Alabama, Tennessee was probably the best offense they faced. And I don't know where Tennessee finished in the country, but not
16th.
All that high. So that's it. That's the one they faced.
16th in total offense.
Yeah. And so that was the one. But no, they didn't. That kid. I mean, Kenny Pickett's a pro. The kid at Miami is a pro. There's good quarterback. There's much better quarterbacking and punting in the ACC than probably any other conference. You had like Jordan Travis was the only reason Florida State won any games at all the last 2 years, and you could make a real claim that he was the 8th best quarterback in the league. If you go down, Pickett, Van Dyke, Howell,
Hartman,
probably the kid at BC's good. I mean, he's right up there.
No, he's for sure better than him.
Sam Hartman,
yeah, Leary,
he's good. Leary at NC State is good. I mean, there's some real quarterbacks in this league.
Malik Cunningham's not too shabby either.
You ain't lying there, man. His numbers are really impressive.
Yeah. ACC.
Come on, guys, get behind
ACC.
it. Get behind it.
XDQ004, last one. Wake up!
Do you think Georgia would have gone undefeated in the ACC?
Not with our schedule.
Well, they didn't have to play Jacksonville State. And that Cooper kid, when he gets hot, like he did at the end of the game, there's only so much you can do.
No. Less than 1 week before early sign day, I am genuinely excited. I feel like we're about to lay the groundwork for a monumental class that will officially start the climb. Do I think we will sign them all? No, but we will get the necessary pieces to feel good about where we are going. With Clemson crumbling, Tony Elliott to Virginia? ? I believe our time to ascend to our rightful place is now. Yeah, man. Why not? Question.
Yeah, I think Clemson, I was going to say, though, real quick, I think Clemson on Thursday had like 2 kids, 2 commitments, decommit, both defensive guys. I think they're both from IMG. So I don't know if they're Florida kids. They're probably not, but they live in Florida for the time being. So just throwing that out there. They had a couple of other kids decommit when Venables left.
Okay. Question. If we could land another Jermaine Johnson type player, I'm talking potential player of the year candidate, in this year's portal, what position would you select? Derek, XDQ004, goes with wide receiver. Charleston Rambo raised the level of that room at Miami. One of those would certainly put us over the top, especially if he is a return specialist too. What say you? drink DeLuna, eat Zaxby's, and go Noles. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you very much. I would still say defensive end. I think that's the most important position that they need help in. Wide receiver is right up there. But again, I'd still say defensive end.
Yeah, we need a leg. We just lost a leg. We didn't have a leg. We were one-legged, and we got a really strong, sturdy leg. We just lost it though. We need to replace that leg. We're like Jim Abbott. We got an arm. We don't have a hand.
Oh,
It'd be nice to have a wide receiver, but we need a leg. We don't have another defensive end that's going to pressure and collapse a pocket. Literally he would get held. He got held and would still sack and strip the ball. It's incredible. It really
so
is.
If you're going to get another Jermaine Johnson, I really do. I mean, just look at what he did to that defense, what he helped do.
Yeah.
It was such a huge difference in those two. I think a wide receiver would be immense, of course. I think that's probably number 2. Maybe like an NFL tackle, offensive tackle would be great, but man, I just think if you could get another Jermaine Johnson out there, that would be insane.
I gotta get what he's saying though. Maybe Florida State tries to become, and I don't say this like in a derogatory way, but like an AAC team, like just try to outscore. Like if you do get a really, I just don't know. I haven't seen a Charleston Rambo-esque. I know Jaden Hazelwood, I guess, is out there, but I don't know what Rambo was like at Oklahoma. Hazelwood has the tools, so maybe he could be the next sort of guy that does it for you. Florida State was 72nd in scoring offense this year. They averaged 27.6 points. I mean, if you bump that up to 32, that takes you to the top 50 of scoring offenses. I don't know how many. Yeah. I mean, 32 gets you like on the cusp of the you're inside the top 40. I don't know how that translates to victories, but I do get that sort of thing, like fight fire with fire. Just try to outscore teams. Let's just do track meets. Not against it. And who knows? Maybe if Jarvis Brownlee turns a corner, if Jarian Jones turns a corner, you liked what Omarion Cooper was, Jamie Robinson hopefully comes back. Maybe you'll have really good tight coverage. Travis Hunter maybe helps out too. That Derek McClendon can get to the quarterback. Maybe not in 1.8 seconds, but maybe 2.3 seconds, and that'll work. Maybe you can kind of finagle your way around that with a better secondary, and then have a really good wide receiver. But again, I don't know. Jermaine Johnson was. We all had him in our top 2 for Warchant.com preseason top 40. Like, I don't know where we'd put like a Jaden Hazelwood. But, man.
High.
Yeah.
Not top 2, but high. And I think a lot of that with Jermaine Johnson, too, was because we saw him in the spring. If they get a transfer at receiver and he's here in the spring and he's making 3 or 4 ridiculous catches a practice and we see it, we're going to have him ranked really high, too. So that I think that, it wasn't just the name or where he came from. It was the fact that we saw him with our own eyes, and he was awesome in the spring, which is why we had him so high. But, yeah, think about that, man, that, like, right now, Florida State has a higher-ranked recruiting class than Clemson.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, man. Take advantage of it. It's a really big deal. And you could finish, like, you've got a 5-star kid that's locked and loaded that maybe I'm wrong, but here we are, 5 days before signing day? There doesn't seem to be a lot of hand-wringing about Travis Hunter anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
That seems to have died down. We'll see. I'm not trying to jinx it, but if he's locked and loaded and you've got these other kids, there's at least 3 or 4 other 5-stars that they feel they're in the running for. I mean, like, not just like pie in the sky like Thibodeau.
Right. Like,
these guys are really coming down to Florida State and one other team. A couple of them are legacy kids. Man, you might be putting together a really, really impressive class, and then you got the portal coming right after that.
Yeah. I agree with you, though, ultimately, XDQ004, this class should be a great foundational setup, especially if they can land a Kevin Coleman, if they can land Armella, Marvin Jones Jr. I know you said you don't expect them to get all of those guys. I don't know if I do either, but, man, I sure hope so. And they can. It's a possibility, to Corey's point. It's not Hail Mary trying to make these sort of things out of thin air. So
yeah, I mean, if they got all those guys, you're talking about probably a top 5 class.
No, even Michael said even with that, he still thinks they'll be. Other guys are going to get added. I'm like, yeah, Michael, but nobody else is going to add 3 5-stars. But Michael knows more about this stuff than I do. So
I mean, 3 5-stars, including the number 1 player. So you'd have 4 5-stars, including the number 1 player in the country. I feel like that gets you in the top 5. What am I looking at? What do we got to do these days. Maybe it's just people. It's the anti-FSU bias.
It is. I mean, currently right now, I think Georgia's got 4 5-stars. But nobody else has got more than one except for North Carolina and Texas A&M. So go figure.
All right. Okay.
Who does North Carolina? What?
I don't understand it either.
Did you
don't
see them
understand
play?
It
You see how old their coach is? Who do they got?
Right.
They've got Zach Rice, an offensive lineman from Lynchburg, Virginia, and Travis Shaw, a defensive tackle from Greensboro.
I think, like, I saw something on Twitter where, like, North Carolina has 4 of the 5 highest-rated players out of Virginia are going to North Carolina.
They got
which
4
is crazy.
Yeah, they got some dudes from there. So, who knows though? When Tony Elliott hopefully goes there, we'll see. Although I don't know. Do I want Tony Elliott to go there? Joe Brady? I don't know. Joe Brady ends up at Miami. He's from Miami. Ends up at Clemson. That wouldn't be cool. Wouldn't like that.
No, that wouldn't be cool at all.
Last thing, I haven't researched this, but I've just seen so many posts about it, and there's a lot of people asking about it on the YouTube chat. Again, we'll have Ira and Gene come up here momentarily to talk about the athletic director hire. Kenny Auburn? That seems weird.
What do you mean, Kenny Auburn? What are you talking
Kenny
about?
Dillingham going to Auburn. Apparently he's a person of interest or like a candidate for their offensive coordinator opening. Like that
Oh.
I don't understand.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess he did leave him once.
Yeah.
Was he going to leave the same coach again for the same position again? You can't do that.
I don't understand.
That'd be the first time in college football history an assistant coach had left a coach to take the same job at another school, rejoined the coach, and then left to take the same job at the same school that he left before.
With a different coach.
That'd be crazy. That would be nuts. Now look, you read off his bona fides. My man put together the 72nd highest scoring offense in the country. Right. So of course Auburn's after him. Makes sense. But no, you would not want that. I think Dillingham, they like those. I think he helps on the recruiting trail a great deal, and I think his players do like him. I think his quarterbacks certainly seem to like him. So you do want to keep him for just stability's sake. Plus, he might actually be really good at his job. We're still waiting to see.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Look at us, 5 days this week. It's not even football season.
We did it.
Who loves you? Who loves you? We do. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.